back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about short story collections. And I think like almost a year ago, I did a video about short story collections. I'll link it down below because since then I have been reading a little bit more when it comes to short stories. And then I was inspired again because I recently just got this book, actually yesterday, called Black American Short Stories, A Century of the Best by John Clark. And this has short stories from Maya Angelou, James Baldwin, Tony K. Bambara, who else? Zora Neale Hurston, Chester Himes, just to name a few. And I really wanted to get this one because there are authors that I've never heard of, number one, and then also authors that I didn't know that they had wrote short stories. Like, for example, Maya Angelou, you know, she's known for like her autobiographies and obviously poetry. So I didn't know that. Also, who was another one I was really interested in? Oh, Chester Himes. Chester Himes, he's known for what? The Rage in Harlem. I know there's a movie of that. Yeah, I do know there's a movie of that, which I love. But I know he writes like detective novels and want to get into his writing. But this is going to be a great sample for me because I can see if I like what he does or if I don't like what he does. So while, you know, going through this yesterday, I was thinking about some new short stories that I have read, and I want to share some with you. So let's get started. Okay, so the first person I always have to mention her, which is J. California Cooper. J. California Cooper, she's known for her short stories and she's known for her plays. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, Alice Walker actually had a publication called Wild Trees Press, and J. California Cooper was under that. So this collection is really good. It's a Pieces of Me. I believe this was her first collection, her first debut book. And oh, the one that gets me out of this one is What Are the Fools? Girl, first of all, that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 to 5 pages. And she has a way of writing where it's clever, and with this story was like, that's exactly what you get. Mr. Rambo, oh girl, he is a worldly man. He's abusive to his wife, and his wife Teresa is like a real church going woman, and like every time he beats her, he like throws her out of the house and she's like on the lawn, and then the next day she's back in the house. Well, he does that one time and she done. And girl, he tried to seek revenge and he gets his whole life toe up, okay? And he always makes fun of her from going to church and being, you know, like a godly woman. And oh, that ending is just perfect. I don't want to give it away, but it was like, that's what you get. That's exactly what you get. So yes. And then my favorite short story collection by her actually is Homemade Love. I've talked about this numerous times. This actually has the short story My Funny Valentine, which was a movie that BT used to always play. But another one that I really like out of this collection is At Last Long. Yeah, it's about like an older woman. She actually is a widow, and she doesn't know if it'll be like a good idea for her to kind of get out there. And you know, she's like, girl, I've, you know, been married all these years and I've been married to that one man, and I don't know. But it was one particular saying that got me. I was up here cracking up. I had never heard of it before. It says, Julia talked to me about Clint and everything. I told her he's a nice man, likes nice things, food, clothing, and ladies. I hear he is a strong man, and I believe what you need is somebody to tip your basket. He ain't poor neither. He is not looking for a home to move in and die. He got one. Julia did not hear nothing but that basket. She said, tipping my what? Girl, you told me it ain't never been tipped. Julia blushed at her age, saying, we are too old to even think about things like that. Girl, like, I've never heard that saying about, you know, we know what she's talking about, but girl, tipping that basket. Oh my goodness. But yeah, her writing is like that. I love her dialogue. It's hilarious. So J. California Cooper, y'all gotta read some J. California Cooper. And she also has novels too. So she a triple threat. She can do short stories, plays, novels, everything. Okay, next is Blue-Eyed Susan by Mary Helen Washington. This actually is a collection of short stories, and I'm so glad I got this because, first of all, this is a first edition. Also, it's signed by the author. I got this from thriftbooks.com. And the background of this collection is Mary Helen Washington. She was a professor. She was teaching. She wanted to teach more like short stories by Black women, and she said it will always frustrate her because she would have to go to the copy machine and, you know, like photocopy just individual stories. And she said that always would get on her nerves. She wanted to just have a collection just in one, you know. And one day she was actually at a party and she ran into Toni Morrison. And she was telling Toni Morrison about her, you know, situation. And Toni was like, well, get a collection of short stories together and send me something and maybe I could do something about it. So she did that, and literally, Mary said about 2 weeks later, Toni had mailed her a contract to get these short stories published. So, girl, Toni just was on the map. But this has short stories from, obviously, Toni Morrison, Gwendolyn Brooks, Louise Mayweather, Toni Cade Bambara, Alice Walker, Paul Marshall. Also, too, I didn't know that Gwendolyn Brooks had short stories because she's just known for poetry, and I know she had like one novel. But this one, you guys have to get this. This is just fantastic. All right, next is Nella Larsen. You guys know anything from Harlem Renaissance? Love. Nella Larsen is actually known for just 2 books, Passing and Quicksand, and that's basically it. But this, I was so excited to get this because she's known for those 2 books and just 3 short stories, which are these 3 short stories. Because after she was accused of plagiarism, she was like, I'm done with this writing thing. I'm gonna just go back to nursing, girl. And she didn't do it anyway, and they dismissed the case and all of that. But she just was kind of discouraged, like, I'm not doing this. But these short stories, Freedom, The Wrong Man, and Sanctuary, fantastic. The Wrong Man, oh my goodness, that was amazing. You have this young lady, let me see if I can tell you about it without giving her away. Okay, you have this young lady named Julia who is married. She's a like interior decorator. She's married to Jim. They have a wonderful life, and they're at a it's like a costume party basically. And another person comes into the party and she's like, oh, Lord Jesus, are you serious? Because she hasn't seen this person in years. And she's afraid that this person is going to confront her husband. That's all I'm going to say. Girl, this was so good. And it's only like 5 pages. She just knows how to write. I love Nella Larsen's writing. I'm always just so like, it's always so bittersweet with her because her writing is so modern and it's not like anyone else's. And the fact that we only have 2 novels and 3 short stories from her. But I always think, well, at least we have those. But it just irks my soul that, you know, that happened to her because she just became discouraged. She's like, I'm not doing this no more. But y'all, please get into this. I actually got this from Amazon. So next is The Messenger Reader. This actually is it's basically like an anthology. The Messenger was actually a journal / magazine during the Harlem Renaissance. And this has short stories from Langston Hughes, Dorothy West, who else? Anita Scott Coleman. These are short stories from people that are really just well known, except Langston Hughes. I mean, clearly everybody knows Langston Hughes. The short story that I like by Langston, I would say is, oh, he has some good ones. But out of this collection, it was called The Glory of Him. Oh my goodness. That one was real deep. You have a very innocent girl that gets together with a sailor basically, and they're on a ship, and that sailor uses that girl, and oh my goodness. But with him, he's a womanizer, and he gets with women, and these women, he collects things from women basically. And towards the end, he got all these memorabilia from the women that he has been with. But the way he treated that girl, Daisy Jones, what's her name? Daisy Jones, I believe. Yes, the way he treated Daisy Jones, girl, it was, Oh Lord, he needed to be beat. So that one was a really good one. Another one that I like is by William Moore. Now he was really well known in the literary circles in like Chicago and New York and things like that. But this short story, The Spring of '65, it's talking about a basically biracial girl that gets in cahoots with a political figure, or like a well-known political figure. I believe that the political figure is inspired by Marcus Garvey. And yeah, that one was a deep one. Out of this collection, I did like those short stories. And then out of this collection, The Portable of Harlem, Renaissance Reader, The Wedding Day by Gwendolyn Bennett was fantastic. You have a white prostitute that gets involved with a black man, and it doesn't end good because the way that she did that man, girl. Another one that I like is The Closing Door by Angelina Ward Gimsky. This is actually talking about the Red Summer, which was in 1919. It was like a racial riot. And you have a woman that is dealing with that clearly. And she is dealing with depression, and she does something that harms another person. I'm being real around the bush because I don't want to give it away, but it's very deep. And when I read that, I'm like, I know that girl did not just do that. Did she really just do that? And I have to read it again, and I'm like, she really just did that. It gets you like that. I always have to mention Wallace Thurman, Cruella de Crude. Girl, that is about a 16-year-old prostitute. And it's only like 3 pages, and she didn't mean to become a prostitute. So back in the day, when men were looking for, you know, a little red night special, they would go to movie theaters. And if you had a woman or a girl that was sitting alone, that was like a cue that they were, you know, they was one of them. And she didn't know that. She like innocently goes to the movie theater because she has like 6 or 7 brothers and sisters, and she just wants to get away. And one day a man comes and slips her some money, and she like, huh? And then she figures it out, and girl, that one was fantastic. Oh, that was good. Another short story that was during that time that got a lot of heat was by Richard Bruce Nugent, called Smoke, Lilies, and Jades. And this was published in 1926. And the reason why it got a lot of backlash is it's dealing with homosexuality, it's dealing with drugs. And you have a man that is in love with a woman and a man. And that was like, girl, they didn't know what to do with that back in them days. So it was a lot. And the backstory on Richard, he actually was the first and only openly gay man that was during the Harlem Renaissance. A lot of the Harlem Renaissance people, a lot of the Harlem Renaissance writers, they were in a closet because they couldn't, you know, go out and do all that. Richard, he didn't care. But that one was really good. So yeah, guys, that is all I have for the short stories that I have recently got into and have been reading. Again, I will link down the one that I did last year because it has some more short stories by some amazing authors. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for you. I'll be back with more Black books. Bye.